वेलकम टू Amazon Academy. आई एम विपुल मेहता. कैसे हो एनएस, कैसे हो आरके? हाउ आर यू गाइस? सो in the lecture now we are going to start with electrochemistry. We are going to revise it and then I'm going to give you questions at the end of class. uh, it is considered that this is one of the difficult chapters, and a lot of people are scared of it, but at the end of the class I will tell you that this is the chapter which you can easily deal with. Okay, now having said that, one thing which you must know, that all the things which I'm going to teach you in this class are super useful. Okay, and they will be asked in one way or the other. Okay, so let's start. For people who don't know me, I'm Vipul Mehta, BTech, IIT Bombay. I have also written a book of physical chemistry by Wiley Publication, and I've been fortunate enough to teach a lot of students, right? uh, all of you have given the first paper of JEE so far, and the idea behind this crash course is to fill in the gaps, right? 88%, not bad, but you can improve, RK. You can still improve, right? Let's make it from 88 to 98%. Let's do it. Is it good? I will say it can be much better, RK. I think you can be much more prepared, because it is not percent, it's percentile. So 12 percentage of students are ahead of you. You need to be in the top 1%. That's the idea. So it's still way to go. I will not say it is bad, but huge scope of improvement. Okay, so let's work on that. Remember my request. What's your name? I will be able to recollect maybe then. Was your request related to NEET aspirants? Was it so? Was your request related to NEET aspirants? Hello, Jem. Hi. So, equilibrium 2. Yes. We will do it. What rank will consider rank of CRT? You will get it. See, don't put too much effort in understanding what rank will I get. Getting the ranks is not your problem. You just give the exam. You will get a rank list by JEE. Let them do some things for you, right? You are studying for them. Let them give you the rank. So don't spend too much time thinking or estimating or guesstimating what your rank is going to be. It's a very difficult process to understand. Okay. So starting your day today, we are going to wrap up electrochemistry. I want all of you to pay full focus here. This electrochemistry is divided into three parts. First is Nernst equation, second is Faraday's law, and third is the problems related to conductance. And if you are able to combine all three, you will be able to solve all the questions. Hi CA. Hello. So these are things which we are going to cover today. First, starting with galvanic cell. Okay, any cell which I give, so for example, if I give you a galvanic cell, okay, if I give you a galvanic cell, remember one thing: the sign of cathode is positive in galvanic, the sign of anode is negative in galvanic cell. In electrolytic it will be opposite, but whatever cell you take, this is always true. Any cell you take, cathode is reduction always, anode is oxidation always. So for example, if I say A plus electron gives A, this is reduction. So this is happening at cathode. If I say B gives B plus electron, this is oxidation. So this will be happening at anode. Are we clear till now? Any doubts? Now, before we proceed, I will tell you trick number 1. Okay, first trick, if it is any half cell, it will always have an electron term. So for example, you have an electron term in this equation, right? So if you have an electron term, this is half cell. Similarly, you have an electron term in this equation. If it is an electron term, it is a half cell. So whenever you have electron term, it is half cell. Are we clear? And if I ask you what is N, so N for a half cell is number of electrons written. So for example, here N is equal to 1. Here it is half cell, N is equal to 1. Here it is half cell, Cu2 plus 2 electron gives Cu. So I can say again n is equal to 2 because it is half cell, so n is equal to 2, number of electrons written in the equation. If there is no electron term and oxidation and reduction are happening, then it is a full cell equation. So for example, here zinc is getting oxidized and copper is getting reduced, but there is no electron term. So if there is no electron term, I can say it is full cell. Are we clear about this? So all of you understand what is half cell? Half cell is electron term, full cell there will be no electron term. Yes or no? Is this clear to everyone? If I find the n for full cell, it is number of electrons cancelled. So for example, if this is the full cell, it is made out of this equation and this equation. I have to cancel the electrons. What are the number of electrons cancelled? 2. So n is equal to 2. So for full cell, n is equal to number of electrons cancelled. For half cell, n is equal to number of electrons written in the equation. Is this clear to everyone? Yes or no? Perfect. You have to improve RZ. 80 percentile, you can easily go to 95. Okay. Now what is cell potential? If I take a solution of M, let's say M plus in aqueous phase, and I keep it in contact with its own metal M. So basically you will have plus minus these small electrochemical double layer. So electrical double layer means plus minus. So can I say this is nothing but can I say this is nothing but the small batteries adding up? So can I say a potential difference is developed across this? So this potential difference which is developed, which is basically the addition of all these, is nothing but electrode potential E. Now tell me, this is only one box. If it is only one box, I can say this is half cell. Yes or no? It's half cell. So this half cell can be used as a cathode. So if it is cathode, it is reduction, M plus electron gives M. Or I can use it as anode, so M gives M plus electron. Yes or no? Yes or no? So if I say that the potential here for this equation is X, can I say that the potential in this case will be minus X, because this equation is just the opposite of this equation? So I can say this is potential and it is reducing, so this is reduction potential. RK, what is something which you have not understood in this? Let me put it this way: if you have any electrode RK which is put in contact with its own solution, you will always have a potential difference developed across its end. That's the only thing I'm saying. If you want to study this in more detail, come to micro course. After 6 days there is an exam, so I have to be a little faster. I cannot explain these very simple things in details. Okay. So understand one thing: this is reduction and this is potential. So reduction potential RP. This is oxidation and I want to find the potential, so this is oxidation potential. So if the RP is X, can I say that the OP is minus X? So for the same half cell or for the same electrode, can I say that reduction potential is minus of oxidation potential? Yes or no? VS, the equilibrium to English lecture will be happening again because due to technical reasons it did not occur yesterday. Okay, don't worry. Ionic equilibrium I'll cover with you. You will get the schedule in the Amazon Academy app, don't worry. Shall we proceed? If I say what are the standard conditions? So standard conditions means that the pressure of gas is 1 bar. Okay. Temperature is equal to 298 Kelvin is not a standard condition. Also, if there is any concentration, it is at 1 molar. So then I will use not means standard conditions. So for example, if I say the same cathode equation is written in standard conditions, which one? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, shall we proceed? So if I say that now reduction is happening under standard conditions, so I am saying standard conditions and this is reduction potential. So SRP not means standard. If I go from here to here, I can say M plus goes to 0. So basically it is reduction. Similarly 1 goes to 1, 0 goes to plus 1, so it is oxidation. So standard oxidation potential means E naught. So if this is X, this is minus X. Are we clear about this? So for the same electrode, can I say SRP is equal to minus of SOP? Yes or no? Can we say SRP is equal to minus of SOP? Yes or no? Is this slide clear to everyone? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Very good, very good, very good. Now tell me one thing. What do you mean by SRP? It is standard reduction potential. Okay. So if I say that the reduction potential increases, it means that the tendency to itself get reduced increases. So for example, if I am saying it is M2 plus 2M and it is X2 plus 2X and the reduction potential of X2 plus 2X is higher, then it is highly likely that X2 plus will form X first. That is, X2 plus will itself get reduced. Okay, if something gets reduced itself, it will oxidize others. So its tendency to getting itself reduced increases or oxidize others increases. So can I say that its oxidizing power increases? So can I say that as SRP increases, oxidizing power increases, or a higher SRP means higher oxidizing power? Yes or no? Can I say this? Higher SRP means higher oxidizing power. Now let's do just the reverse of this. Okay. Hi Snehanjali, you are late. Let's do just the reverse of this. As SOP increases, tendency to itself gets oxidized increase, or reduce other increase, or reducing power increase. So can I say as the SOP increases, or the higher SOP means higher reducing power? Yes or no? Is it clear to everyone? A simple thing, if you are given a group of cations and a group of anions, the one with the highest SRP will go to cathode and the one with the highest SOP will go to anode, because highest SRP means highest reduction and reduction happens at cathode. Highest SOP means highest tendency of getting oxidized and oxidation happens at anode. This is what I have written here. So what will go on the cathode of the multiple cations or anions? The one which has the highest tendency of reducing or the highest SRP. What will go on the anode? The one which is the highest tendency of getting oxidized or the one with the highest SOP value. Are we clear with this concept now? Any doubts? Any doubts, guys? Any doubts till now? Shall we proceed? No. We should proceed, right? PS. Okay, perfect. Now, calculation of E naught, you will have two cases. Case 1, when you have two half cells which combine to give a full cell. Let me give you an example. Let's say I give an example as Ag plus, Ag gives Ag plus, then Zn2 plus gives Zn. How do you read this equation? Go from left to right. So if I go from left to right, silver is going from 0 to plus 1. It is getting oxidized. Oxidation happens in anode. So can I write the equation of anode as Ag gives Ag plus 1 electron? Yes or no? Zinc goes from plus 2 to 0. So this is reduction. CA, don't worry about me being quick. I will make sure I revise everything. Okay, I have to take care of everyone. All of you who think I am going slow, please answer the questions. I will understand at the end of the class what is your outcome. Okay. I know how to use this 1.5 hour in the best possible way. So don't worry about being quick. Okay. So if zinc goes from +2 to 0, can I say it is reduction? If it is reduction, reduction will happen at cathode. So I write the equation of cathode, zinc 2 plus 2 electron gives zinc. Now I have been given E naught Ag plus Ag as x. So if I go from left to right, naught means standard, E means potential, Ag plus 2 Ag means reduction. So this is standard reduction potential of silver. Silver is the anode. So this is SRP of anode. Similarly, this is standard reduction potential of zinc, and zinc is the cathode. So this is SRP of cathode. If I write this equation, I can say silver goes from +1 to 0. So I can say E naught is x. And here I can write zinc goes from +2 electron gives zinc. So this is y. This is given to me. Now if I write this equation, question number 1, this is fine because this is given to me as y from this point. This will be minus x. Should I multiply it with by 2? Because I am multiplying this equation by 2 so that the electrons get cancelled. Only then I will get a full cell equation. Because in full cell equation there cannot be any electron term. Yes or no? So should I multiply E naught by 2 if I multiply the equation by 2? Tell me CA. Tell me quickly. If I am multiplying this equation by 2, should I multiply this by 2 or not? No. You should not, because this is the reference value. This will not change. So if I multiply the equation by 2, I will not multiply this by 2. Okay. So this will be y minus x. So can I say E naught cell is nothing but SRP of cathode minus SRP of anode always. So basically when two half cell combine to give a full cell, you can always get the E naught value as SRP of cathode minus SRP of anode, or you can say SRP of cathode plus SOP of anode, or you can say SOP of anode minus SOP of cathode. Are we clear? Are we clear? Yes or no? Why SRP? SRP is not negative of x. SRP is this. This equation is the opposite of this. PS, this equation is the opposite of this. That's the reason it is minus x. This equation is just the opposite of this, right? So if this is x, this will be minus x. Yes or no? SRP value is x only. Okay, PS. Okay, let's proceed. The second case where they will ask you to find E naught is when two half cell combine to give another half cell. For example, if I give you a question, you are given E naught Fe3 plus Fe as x, E naught Fe2 plus Fe as y. You have to find E naught Fe3 plus Fe2 plus. Okay. How we decide cathode and anode? Wow. BD, which class you are in? Which class you are in? BD, which class you are in? Twelfth. If you are given a cell, in this case, if you are given a cell, can you tell me what will be cathode? Have you joined this class on time, BD? Have you joined this class on time? No, today. Have you joined the class on time? Or you came late? You have not joined the class on time. Because I explained it to you. No. Then see, you cannot waste the time of other people by coming late. It is not happening. This is not right. Reduction happens at cathode. So you choose cathode as just looking at the reduction equation. Okay. Now see the recording. Don't come late. See, we only have 6 days left for the next attempt. I cannot waste time like this. Especially for people who come late. So in this question, I have been given Fe3 plus Fe. I have to find Fe3 plus Fe2 plus. If I write this equation, if I go from left to right, the equation is Fe3 plus 3 electrons gives Fe. This is the equation. Let this be equation 1. So if I say this is equation 1, E naught is given to me as X. Can you tell me this is half cell? Yes, it is half cell. What is the N for half cell? Number of electrons returned, which is 3. Yes or no? If I write this equation Fe2 plus 2 electrons gives Fe, Fe2 plus 2 electrons gives Fe. What is E naught? E naught is Y. It is a half cell, yes, because there is an electron term. What is the N in this case? 2. If I write this equation, it is Fe3 plus electrons gives Fe2 plus, Fe3 plus electrons gives Fe2 plus. What is E naught 3, which is something I have to find. What is N? N is 1, and this is again a half cell. My question to you is, in this case, if I have to write equation number 3, can I write 3 as 1 minus 2? Tell me. Can I write equation 3 as 1 minus 2? Tell me. Yes or no? If I can write equation 3 as equation 1 minus equation 2, do not write E naught 3 is E naught 1 minus E naught 2. That will be incorrect. TP, that is exactly the thing I am saying. Add delta G, not E. So I will say delta G naught 3 is delta G naught 1 minus delta G naught 2. I will not write E naught 3 is E naught 1 minus E naught 2. That is incorrect. Now what is delta G? Delta G is minus NF into E naught. So if I write this, what is delta G naught 3 minus N3F E naught 3? This will be minus N1F E1 naught. This will be minus of minus plus N2F E2 naught. F gets cancelled out. So can I say E naught 3 is N1 E1 naught minus N2 E2 naught upon N3, N1 E1 naught minus N2 E2 naught upon N3. What is N1? N1 is 3, E1 naught is X. This is 2, this is Y. So 3X minus 2Y upon N3, which is 1. This is your answer. So in this case, these two half cells are combining to give you another half cell. In these things, play with delta G. ये clear है क्या? Is it clear to everyone? So there are only two things which you will get for calculation of E naught. Either two half cell will combine to give a full cell, or two half cell will combine to give you a half cell. You know how to take care of both now. Now there are some things which are known as reference electrodes. For example, there is standard hydrogen electrode. What do you mean by standard hydrogen electrode? You have H plus, which is at concentration 1 molar. Yes, you can I say. And basically, let's say this is inert electrode, and the gas which is getting out is hydrogen. So if I give you the equation, it will be something like this. E naught platinum H2 H plus. So first of all, whenever such equations are given to you, this is 0, this is 0, this is plus 1. Just look at the fundamental thing, which is the only thing which is getting oxidized? Hydrogen. So this is the equation. Platinum is just an inert electrode. Whenever a gas is released, the inert electrode ensures that the gas released is adsorbed on that surface, so it is easily controllable. Okay. So this is same as this. Are we clear about this? Because platinum is just an inert electrode. So for example, if I ask you what is the reaction quotient of this equation, it will be H plus square upon Q upon pressure of H2. This will be the reaction quotient Q. Now if I say that this concentration is 1 molar and this is 1, I can say 1 bar, I can say Q is equal to 1. For standard hydrogen electrode, this value of SOP or SRP is assigned as 0. And basically I combine the others to get a complete electrochemical series just by this. Okay, so understand one thing. Reference means I assume that this value is X and I calculate every value with respect to X. That is the reason I am assuming this to be 0. I am going to calculate all the values with respect to 0. Are we clear about this? The complete electrochemical series which you get is because of assuming SHE or standard hydrogen electrode at E naught is equal to 0. Are we clear about this? Yes or no? Okay, so let me first understand what I have done so far. I have calculated E naught. I know how to play with N. I can write the equation, so I can write the reaction quotient Q. Yes or no? This is what I have learned so far. There can be some other reference electrodes, for example, calomel. So calomel, if I write the equation, this is going to be something which is written in front of me. Can you tell me what is oxidation of mercury here? Oxidation of mercury is +1, chlorine is -1, mercury is 0, chlorine is -1. Which of the following is not changing? Chlorine is not changing. So what is the fundamental equation? Mercury going from +1 to 0. Now mercury, like copper, in +1 will exist as Hg2 2+. It doesn't exist as Hg+. So I can say mercury 2 plus 2 electrons to Hg. Yes or no? This is the fundamental equation. But I want the equation in this format. If I want the equation in this format, I add 2 Cl- on both the sides. So this is the equation I get. The E naught for this is X. Are we clear? Are we clear? It's not bad, AY. You can still improve, but you have to reach to 99 AY. Okay? Easily reachable. It's not that it is not reachable. Okay, tell me a question. If I give you E naught AgCl slash Ag comma Cl minus is equal to Y. Can you write the equation? Just write I wrote the equation in this. PS, first do this question, then I will repeat. Okay, try to do this question first. Try to do this question first. I will repeat it then. PS, try to do this question. This is the fundamental equation essay. Very good. Now convert that equation into this form. So how do we write the fundamental equation? Just write the oxidation number. This is +1, this is -1, this is 0, this is -1. So which is not changing? Chlorine. Chlorine is not changing. Remove chlorine. You will not get confused at all. So fundamentally what is happening? Only silver is getting reduced. Yes or no? So fundamentally equation is Ag plus electron gives Ag. Yes or no? This is the fundamental equation. If I add Cl- on both sides, what with the equation? AgCl plus electron gives Ag plus Cl-. Yes or no? So now the E naught for this is given to U as Y. Simple enough. Yes or no? Is it not simple? Now similarly PS, can I ask you what is happening in this case? Chlorine is not changing. Remove chlorine. So fundamentally mercury goes from 1 to 0. I have only said that mercury will not exist as Hg+. If it wants to exist in +1, it will exist as Hg2 2+. But still the oxidation number of mercury is +1 only, right? So I write this equation, add Cl- on both the sides, I will get this equation. Are we clear now? Calomel is clear. So now you are in a position, which is inert electrode? Calomel. It's a precipitate. It's a metal insoluble electrode. Okay, that is one type of electrode. So now if I use the Nernst equation, understand my plan. What I have done, this is the Nernst equation. E is equal to E naught minus 2.303 RT by NF log of K, log of Q. Now if the temperature is 298, 2.303 into R into T by F will be 0.059. Now understand one thing, what I have done so far is I gave you all the tools to calculate E naught, yes or no? I gave you all the tools to calculate N for half cell, for full cell. I gave you all the ways to write the equation, so you can write the Q for half cell, for full cell. So this Nernst equation can now be used for half cell as well as full cell, yes or no, because you know all the tools how to find. So basically what happens in this chapter is, this part is very important. People know what Nernst equation is, but they cannot calculate because they don't know how to play with E naught, they don't know how to write the equations. They simply learn the formula and they try to get the answer, which is incorrect approach. Are we clear now? Now delta G is minus N into F into E cell, okay? So I can say delta G is minus N F into E cell. For a spontaneous reaction, delta G is negative. So if this is negative, this is negative, this is number positive, this is positive, can I say that E cell will be positive? So if I have to find a spontaneous reaction, can I say that E cell has to be positive? Yes or no? And how can I find E cell? By using Nernst equation. If it is at equilibrium, then delta G is equal to 0, therefore E is equal to 0. If it is non-spontaneous, then delta G is positive, or I can say E cell is negative. So for equilibrium I can say E is equal to 0 and Q is equal to K. So can I say E is equal to, can I say E naught is equal to 0.059 by N log of K at equilibrium? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is it clear to everyone? Shall we proceed? So this is the first part of the chapter. Okay. Now this is super important. So now let's do some questions on the basis of this. Spontaneity of cell means E cell greater than 0. Let's do a question like this. Okay. I am removing all the data. Find the E cell at 25 degrees Celsius. This is your question. Can you solve this question for me? Just using your Nernst equation and your basic equation. Okay. Your time starts now. What will be the E cell in this case? E cell is 0, okay. E cell is 0. Concentration C1 and C2 are given to you. So what we should do in these questions is write the equation of anode. Anode is, go from left to right, it is going from 0 to +1. So this is anode because oxidation. So what will be happening at anode? Anode will be M solid gives M plus concentration C1 plus electron. Yes or no? What will be cathode? It's going from +1 to 0. So I can say M plus concentration C2 plus electron gives M solid. If I add both of them, I will get a full cell equation such that the electrons get cancelled. So M solid, M plus concentration C2 gives M solid, M plus concentration C1. Yes or no? Now this is your full cell equation. For a full cell, number of electrons cancelled is equal to 1. So N is 1. What is reaction quotient Q? C1 by C2 because the other are solids. What is E naught? So basically two half cells combining to give a full cell, but both the cathode and anode are same. So can I say that E naught is equal to 0 because cathode, anode and same? So I can say E naught cell is SRP of cathode minus SRP of anode. Cathode, anode being same, the SRP will be same. So I will get the answer as 0. So can I say for concentration cells E naught is equal to 0? So if I ask you what is E is equal to 0 minus 0.059 by 1 log of C1 by C2. Yes or no? So we don't have to remember these formulae, we can actually derive it because we understand the fundamentals of the chapter now. Are we clear, everyone? Is this clear to everyone, guys? So whether it is C1 by C2 or C2 by C1, you don't need to just mug the formula. You can actually derive it properly. Good. Second part is super scoring, which is Faraday's law. So if I ask you what is Faraday's law, let me remove all this. First of all, how is E cell not 0? What is E naught cell? This is one half cell, this is another half cell, this is full cell. What is E naught cell when two half cell combine to give a full cell? SRP of cathode minus SRP of anode. Can I say that the cathode and anode are same? M plus gives M. What RZ? Not paying attention, huh? Not paying attention. Yes? Is it clear to you now? Pay attention. See, the most important fees which you have to pay is paying attention. If you pay that, you will always get the best benefits. So please pay attention, okay? Faraday's first law. What do you mean the Faraday's first law? The weight of anything which is deposited is proportional to charge which is passed through an electrolyte. Okay. So now if I ask you a simple question, let's say Al3 plus, a current is passed in Al3 plus. So Al3 plus 3 electrons gives Al. So aluminium is deposited. My question to you is, what will be the weight of aluminium deposited? So I can say the weight of aluminium deposited will be proportional to charge Q. Now what is this proportionality sign? This proportionality sign is Z, where Z is known as electrochemical equivalent, and also Q is equal to I into T. So I can say it is nothing but Z into I into T. Now what is Z? Z is electrochemical equivalent. So I can say the Z is nothing but equivalent weight upon Faraday into Q. Now what is Faraday? 1 Faraday is basically charge of 1 mole of particle. So 1 Faraday is charge of 1 mole of electrons. So what is 1 mole? 6.022 into 10 ki power 23. What is charge of 1 electron? 1.6 into 10 ki power minus 19. So 1 Faraday is approximately 96,500 calories. Not calories, coulombs. Okay, it's charge. So basically I can say that this is one formula which you need to remember. Are we clear about this? Now what is equivalent weight? Equivalent weight is molecular weight upon N factor. Z. Okay. I will explain it to you. What is Z? Let's say this is the equation of silver. Okay. If I want to find the value of Z is nothing but equivalent weight upon Faraday. So can I say the value of Z is nothing but equivalent weight? What is equivalent weight? Let's say I'm talking about silver. So it is molecular weight of silver upon n factor of silver into Faraday. Okay, MT. Suppose I give you this equation. Can you tell me what is the value of Z for copper? Can you tell me what will be the value of Z for copper? So I will say it is molecular weight of copper upon n factor, which is 2 into F. Are we clear now, MT? So this part of the chapter, which is like only 2 slides, is super easy and super important. This is where you will score the marks. Okay, so this part of the chapter you should not leave. If I go to the Faraday's second law, it is very easy. It is just a corollary of this. If I say if the same charge is passed through 2 different electrolytes, so let's say this is electrolyte 1. So W1 is Z1 into Q. I am saying same charge is passed. So W2, that is electrolyte 2. If the charge is same, I can say W2 is Z2 into Q. I divide both of them. So I will get W1 by W2 is Z1 by Z2. What is Z1? Equivalent weight of the first one by Faraday. What is Z2? Equivalent weight of second by Faraday. So can I say the weights are in the ratio of equivalent weights? Yes or no? Now, even if you don't know Faraday's second law, it doesn't matter. You will still get the answer because it is very straightforward. So for example, if I give you that 2 cells are connected in series for the same time. So can I say if they are connected in series, then the current I is same? Yes or no? If they are connected in series, then can I say that the current I is same? Yes or no? If the current I is same and the time is same, can I say I into T is same? Yes or no? If I into T is same, can I say the charge Q is same? Is what is written. So can I say in that case W1 by W2 is Z1 by Z2, which is equivalent weight of first by equivalent weight of second. This is very easy. Shall we proceed to the next part of the chapter? So we have finished 2 parts of the chapter. The third part of the chapter is conductance. Okay. Let's understand conductance. Starting with resistance. Resistance R is equal to rho into L by A, where L by A is known as cell constant. This is known as resistivity. And this is known as resistance R. Yes or no? So if I say 1 by R and I call it as sigma, can I say sigma is 1 by resistance, which is known as conductance? 1 by rho is nothing but kappa, which is known as specific conductance or conductivity, into A by L, where A is centimeter square, the area of cross section of the plate which is basically dipped in the electrolyte, and L is the difference between those 2 electrolytes, the separation between the electrodes. Are we clear about this? Both of them are in centimeter. Can someone tell me what is the unit of the following? What is unit of sigma? What is unit of sigma? It is ohm minus 1, or I can call it as mho, or I can call it as Siemens. Yes or no? Yes. If I ask you what is the unit of kappa, so kappa will be ohm minus 1 centimeter minus 1, or mho centimeter minus 1, or Siemens centimeter minus 1. All are true. Is this clear to everyone? So let me ask you one question now. I'm writing this conductance is equal to K into A by L. Okay. So now tell me, if I take a small volume of 1 cc, this is volume. So if I take a 1 cc solution and I separate the electrodes by 1 centimeter in that 1 cc solution, what is area? Area is volume by distance. So can I say that the area will be 1 centimeter square? Yes or no? Now if I substitute this area and L here, can I say sigma is equal to K? Yes or no? So can I say sigma is conductance? So can I say K is the conductance of 1 cc solution? Yes or no? K is the conductance of 1 cc solution. So if I take a very small, so that's the reason K is actually conductivity, but it is known as specific conductance. So now I ask you a question, a very popular question. As dilution increases, can I say, let for example, initially the volume was 1 liter, now it is 1000 liter. In 1 liter there were 10 ions. In 1000 liters there will be 10 ions. So if I ask you number of ions per unit, number of ions per cc will be higher in which case? First case or second case? Number of ions per cc will be higher in which case? First case or second case? No, not Pohlrausch law. First case, right? So if the number of ions are higher in the first case, I can say the conductance in the first case will be higher. So basically, can I say that as dilution increases, number of ions per cc decreases? So conductance per cc decreases because conductance is due to flow of ions. Or I can say K decreases, yes or no? So can I simply say as dilution increases, K decreases, yes or no? Yes or no? Basically, if I say initially 1 cc had 1 ion and now 1 cc has 0.1 ion, the conductance in the second case will be less because per cc number of ions are significantly less, and basically conductance is due to flow of ions. So if the number of ions will be low, conductance has to be low, and conductance of 1 cc is nothing but kappa. So can I say that as dilution increases or concentration decreases, can I say that kappa decreases? Yes or no? Is this clear to everyone? Is this clear to everyone? Perfect. Now there is something which is known as equivalent conductance and molar conductance. So what is equivalent conductance? Lambda E, which is kappa, which is specific conductance or conductivity into 1000 by N. Yes, tell me. DG, don't mix two things. Okay. If you're increasing dilution, lambda will increase because concentration is not directly affected here. Okay. There is nothing which is getting dissociated here. Okay, you are mixing equivalent and molar conductance with K. Listen to me carefully, DG. Okay, I will explain that to you. Just for 2 seconds, wait. So, if I say equivalent conductance, it is K into 1000 by N, where N is the normality. If I say molar conductance, it is K into 1000 by M, M is the molarity. Between lambda E and lambda M, can I say one thing? If I multiply both by N factors, can I say that lambda E is lambda M by N factor? So in general, I can say lambda is equal to K into 1000 by C because this concentration is C. Now coming to question of DG, if I draw the equation, okay, of lambda versus root C for strong electrolytes, it comes out to be a straight line. See, ask the questions related to electrochemistry, all of you. Please don't ask random questions. In case you have these questions, ask in the My Doubts tab without disturbing others. See, we only have 1.5 hours to study something which is of a lot of more lectures in 1.5 hours, and we will do questions also at the end of this. Don't ask questions which are not relevant to the chapters. So if I take a strong electrolyte and I plot lambda versus root c, it comes out to be a straight line. Now tell me one thing, if this straight line is only from, let's say, A to B, only from A to B, okay? If I have to intersect this line here, this intersection can be done by extrapolation, because a straight line can be extended. You have done this in math. So can I extrapolate this straight line? Yes or no? MT, please, I have a sincere request. This chapter is electrochemistry, okay? How to find N factor in HPO3 depends on which reaction it is reacting in. Okay, you have to find the number of replaceable H. Okay, tell me one question in electrochemistry when you have HPO3. At least give me the benefit of doubt when I say it is not important, it is not important, okay? So, if I say that I just use extrapolation, I can find this intersection. This intersection is when concentration tend towards 0, yes or no? At this point, what is concentration value? It is 0. So I can say limit concentration tend towards 0, lambda is nothing but lambda infinity. That is molar or equivalent conductance on infinite dilution. Molar or equivalent conductance on infinite dilution. So infinite dilution means concentration C tend towards 0. So for a strong electrolyte, you can find this interaction. For a weak electrolyte, this will be the curve. So I understand that the value of lambda is very less there because alpha is much less than 1. So number of ions is much less than 1. So lambda decreases. But suddenly here it shoots up. Why? Because from a weak electrolyte, you will have a strong electrolyte, because as alpha tend towards 0, as concentration tend towards 0, the strong electrolyte, the weak electrolyte will become a strong electrolyte. So number of ions will shoot up. Tell me one thing, all of you, can I find the intersection of this curve by lambda infinity just by extrapolation? Can I find the intersection? Can I find the intersection of this curve with the y-axis? For the weak electrolyte? No. Why? Because it is asymptote. So if it is an asymptote, it will never intersect. So I have to find a way to calculate lambda infinity, and that way is known as Kohlraasch law. This way is to calculate lambda infinity for both strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. You can use it for both. Now instead of writing the complete thing, just understand the basic funda. If you have an electrolyte AXBY which breaks as XA plus YB minus, if I have to find lambda infinity molar of AXBY, that is molar conductance on infinite dilution for AXBY, I can simply write it as X times lambda infinity molar A plus Y times lambda infinity molar B minus. Similarly, if I have to write the equivalent conductance at infinite dilution for AXBY, I will say lambda infinity equivalent AXBY is lambda infinity equivalent A plus lambda infinity equivalent B minus. Here I will not use these coefficients. Just to give you an example, if I take BaCl2, it gives me Ba2 plus 2Cl minus. If I have to find lambda infinity molar BaCl2, then I have to use the coefficient. So it will be 1 into lambda infinity molar Ba2 plus 2 into lambda infinity molar Cl minus. If I take the equivalent one, I don't have to use that. I can simply say lambda infinity equivalent BaCl2 is lambda infinity equivalent Ba2 plus lambda infinity equivalent Cl minus. Is this clear to everyone? क्या रिपीट करूं? What should I repeat? PS. What should I repeat? See, I only explained that you cannot find lambda infinity by extrapolation for a weak electrolyte. So to calculate lambda infinity, that is conductance, molar conductance or equivalent conductance, okay, you have to use Kohlraasch law. Now what does Kohlraasch law means? If you have any electrolyte, whether it is strong or it is weak, if I have to find the lambda infinity of an electrolyte, you have to consider the lambda infinity of all the ions which make that electrolyte. So for example, if I have BaCl2 gives Ba2 plus 2Cl minus, if I have to find lambda infinity molar BaCl2, it will be 1 into lambda infinity molar Ba2 plus 2 into lambda infinity molar Cl minus. Curves are done already, AY. Which curves are you talking about? Which curves are you talking about? Similarly, lambda infinity, if I take equivalent, then I don't have to take the coefficients. I can simply say lambda infinity equivalent Ba2 plus lambda infinity equivalent Cl minus. So this way you can always find, it is already done in, wait. Conductometric titration, is that what you're talking about? I will come to that, wait. See, this is electrochemistry. Ask me questions related to electrochemistry. How difficult is it for you to understand? And wait, is the lecture over, AY? Is the lecture over so far? No, right? Now there can be some applications on the basis of this. First, they can ask you to find degree of dissociation. So for a weak electrolyte, this is one thing which you have to remember, that alpha, that is degree of dissociation, is lambda by lambda infinity. This lambda you can calculate by K into 1000 by C. This lambda infinity you have to use Kohlraasch law. They will give you some details. So for example, if I give you an acid HA and I ask you to find Ka, you are given lambda of HA and lambda infinity of HA. So I can find alpha as lambda by lambda infinity. If I write this as C00, this will be C1 minus alpha, C alpha, C alpha. So Ka will be C alpha square upon 1 minus alpha, and alpha is lambda by lambda infinity. So I can get the value of Ka. Is this clear? Remember, there are only 2 to 3 applications which will be asked. Make sure you go through these applications and don't intermix them. Okay. Next, calculation of Kw of water. What is Kw? Ionic product of water. So I can say lambda is K into 1000 by C. So can I say K is lambda into concentration C by 1000? Now K is additive. So can I say K of water is due to K of H plus K of OH minus? Can I say K of H plus is lambda into concentration of H plus by 1000? And can I say K of OH minus is lambda into concentration of OH minus by 1000? This is what I have written here. Now since water is a weak electrolyte, whatever it has to dissociate, it is already being dissociated. So can I say lambda H plus is lambda infinity H plus and lambda OH minus is lambda infinity OH minus? Yes or no? And can I say that H plus is equal to OH minus because it's pure water, and that will be equal to under root of Kw? So this is what I have written here. So I have written lambda H plus as lambda infinity H plus. I have written lambda OH minus as lambda infinity OH minus, and I have written H plus as OH minus is common as root of Kw by 1000. Yes or no? So can I say, according to Kohlraasch law, can I say this value? Can I say this value is nothing but lambda infinity H2O? So now I will be given this value. I will be given this value. So I will be able to get the value of Kw. Yes or no? This is another application which they might ask you. It's pretty straightforward. The third application which they will ask you is calculation of KSP. Tell me one thing. If a precipitate is formed, what will happen to the value of conductance? Will it change? Will it remain constant? Let's say AgCl precipitate is formed. Will the conductance change? Will it remain constant? increase. Okay, K is saying it is going to increase. Anyone else? It will decrease. Okay, SA is saying it will decrease. Anyone else? See, a precipitate cannot flow, right? It is not ion now. It will be constant. AY is saying the right thing. So if it is constant for a precipitate, can I say lambda is equal to lambda infinity? So for example, if I give you a question like KAgCl aqueous is X, K water is Y. So this is what? This is conductivity. You are given lambda infinity Ag plus is W1, lambda infinity Cl minus is W2. I am asking you to find the value of KSP of this. Okay. If I am asking you to find the value of KSP of this, first of all, AgCl is a precipitate. So the value of lambda is constant. So can I say lambda is equal to lambda infinity? Yes or no? Now can I say this is nothing but K into 1000 by C? K is nothing but K of AgCl as a solid. So that will be water plus AgCl minus water because it is additive. So just for AgCl solid it will be X minus Y. 1000 by C. Instead of C, can I say it is solubility H because it is a precipitate. So concentration is solubility S, which is nothing but root of KSP. So can I say, and this is according to Kohlrausch law, W1 plus W2. So can I find the value of KSP now? So these are the 3 applications which you might be asked, not the 4th application. You will be asked only one amongst these 3. So make sure that you revise it properly. Is this clear to you? This is the 3rd part. One more thing which is left is the conductometric titrations. Okay. Remember one thing, as the interactions will increase between acid and bases. See, at the end of the day, what is conductance? Ions are flowing. So if the interaction increases, the ions will stop flowing, or the movement of the ions will be affected, or the conductance will decrease. So remember one thing, if the interaction increases, this conductance decreases. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say this is a strong acid HCl and you are adding a strong base on top of it. Starting HCl strong electrolyte, high value of lambda. As you are adding NaOH, the interaction increases. So this drops. This is the point where HCl gets finished. Now if you are adding NaOH, it is not reacting with anyone. It is a strong electrolyte. So it is going to increase. Are we clear about this? Yes or no? Is this part clear to all of you? Instead of this, suppose I take a weak acid CH3COH and I add a strong base on top of it. Now CH3COH will have very low conductance because it is a very weak electrolyte. If I add NaOH to it, what will happen? This alpha is less than 1. This is a soluble salt CH3CONa. So slightly it is going to increase. At the same time, acid and base also have an interaction. So it will not increase abruptly, but will increase slightly because the number of ions are increasing from much less than 1 to 1. Now once this gets finished, you have NaOH. NaOH is a strong base. It will increase very rapidly. If I add NaOH to a mixture of strong acid plus weak acid, according to common ion effect, initially this will be suppressed. So basically you will only have HCl to react with first. So first of all, HCl will react exactly this part of the curve. See, now HCl gets finished. Then you have CH3COH. So exactly this part and this part of the curve. See, are we clear? Is it clear to everyone? Guys, yes or no? Is it clear to everyone, guys? RK, TP, MT, AY. Perfect. Suppose I have a reaction like this. AgNO3, the alpha is 1. I'm adding NaCl on top, the alpha is 1. What will happen as soon as NaCl reacts with AgNO3? What will happen? You will have a precipitate of AgCl. Now what happens when a precipitate is formed? The conductance is constant. Now this will be the end point because this gets finished and AgNO3 gets finished. You will be left only with NaCl. Alpha of NaCl is 1. So again it is going to increase. Now this is a JEE question. Is it too difficult? It's a JEE advanced question, not even mains. You are given 4 curves, you have to tell which was the right curve. Is it too difficult a question for JEE advanced? Tell me. Just to identify which curve it is. Is it? So this chapter is basically playing with minds of a lot of people. This chapter in ionic equilibrium, people think it is difficult. They are not difficult. They are systematic chapters. So you have to do them systematically. Okay. Now we will do questions. Please take your pen and paper out. Please take your pen and paper out. Obviously you should know it. It is an exam. Okay, I'll tell you a story. When this question came, it was in my illustrations before the questions came. Okay. If that gives you some kind of satisfaction, AY. So this was an illustration which I did in the class, and this question came after that. So I'm not saying this is an original question which was only known to me. Obviously I read a lot of books, but it was not that it was not in the notes of the student. It was. That is the reason pay a lot of importance on the notes which are provided to you by the teachers, because a teacher goes through 10 different books, or maybe himself has written a book to tell you what the information is. Okay, that is the reason we ask you to revise the notes, because these notes are just of so many books you don't even know. Okay, shall we proceed, guys? Pen, paper ready? All set? All set, guys? Pen, paper ready? Say ready. I will start the questions then if you say ready. Okay, say ready. I will start the questions. Ready, ready, ready. Only one is ready. 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's start. First question. For the disproportionation reaction, this ln K is, write your answer, write your name. Write your answer and write your name. Yes, the answers please, quickly. Answers please. .17, okay. So copper is going from +1 to 0, so this is reduction. And this is oxidation. So copper 2+2 gives copper plus, this is SRP of anode. This is SRP of cathode. So if I ask you, this is a full cell equation, yes or no? So if it is a full cell equation, there is no, I can say what is E naught cell? SRP of cathode. So this will be 0.52. This will be 0.36. Yes or no? If I ask you what will be the value of equilibrium constant at 298, so I can say E cell is equal to 0. That will be equal to E naught cell minus RT by N into F ln of K. So what? I am not saying E naught cell is 0. I am just saying E cell is 0 because it is equilibrium, right? At equilibrium, delta G is 0. Empty, I am not saying E naught is 0, I am saying E is 0. So I can say E naught cell is 0.36, which is RT by NF. So RT by F is 0.025. It is given to you as 0.025. ln K. So by this I will say ln K is 14.4. So this value is 144 into 10 to the power of minus 1. AY, just the double. Is this clear to everyone? Shall we do the next question? Okay, this is your next question. Now don't do a mistake in this, okay? Tell me the answer to this question. But that is at BD, that is at 298 Kelvin. Here you are given RT by F as 0.025. Right? Just use it. Tell me the answer to this question. Arshad. Yes. Tell me the answer to this question. Nine 6500. Okay. SM has given me. What is your name, SM? Write your name also. AY is saying minus 96500. Nine 96500. Anjali, SM, Satvik. Chirag, all of you are right. So first of all, if I have this equation, can I say that the reaction quotient Q will be copper 2 plus upon Sn2 plus? Now this is given to me that they are 1. E naught is equal to SRP of cathode. What is the cathode? This is your cathode, because this is reduction. So SRP of cathode is minus 0.16 minus of SRP of anode, which is 0.34. So this will be minus 0.5. Number of electrons cancelled is 2. So can I say E is equal to E naught minus 0.059 by 2 log of Q. Q is 1, so this will cancel out. So can I say E is equal to minus 0.5? Yes or no? 1F is the right answer. So if I ask you what is delta G? Delta G is minus N F into E. What is N? Minus 2. What is F? Is F. What is E? Minus 0.5. So the answer is F, or I can say 96500 joules. Very good. A lot of people have done it correctly. Pretty good. Same spirit. Moving on to the next question. Can you do this question for me? An acidic solution of dichromate is electrolyzed for 8 minutes using 2 ampere current as per the following equation. The amount of Cr3 plus obtained is 0.104. The efficiency of the process in percentages. You have to use Faraday's 96,000 coulombs. Atomic mass of chromium is 52. Okay, tell me the answer to this question. Write your answer, write your name. Yes. Tell me the answer to this question. Yes, guys. Anyone? Weight of Cr3 plus is equal to equivalent weight of Cr3 plus into, let's say the efficiency is X%. So I can say current is I. So if it is I, that is 2, I will only get X% of 2. If it is 8 minutes, then it is this many seconds by Faraday. Faraday is 96000. So weight of chromium is 0.104. That will be equivalent weight of chromium. Now 2 moles of chromium use 6 electrons. So 1 mole of chromium will use 3 electrons. So N factor is number of moles or number of electrons per mole of a compound. So if I write 0.104, what is equivalent weight? Equivalent weight is 52 by 3, 96,000, 2 into x by 100 into 8 into 60. If you will solve, you will get x is equal to 60%. Is this clear? Now, Chirag, right answer. Good job, Chirag. So see, I will not say it is a gift, but I will say this is a question which is directly based on one formula. RK, what is there? I'm just using the formula. W is Z into Q. This is the only thing which I have used, nothing else. What is Z? Molecular weight. upon n factor into Faraday. Molecular weight upon n factor into Faraday. What is Q? I into T. So in this case, if the efficiency is X, this will be your I and this will be your T. That is the only thing I have used. Now can you do this question for me, RK? Simple. So see, this question requires, so you have a lot of questions like these in which you know the formula, but you get frustrated, you get tired, you lose concentration, you lose motivation, and you basically are not able to solve the question. Always give your 100% motivation in this. Can you get something in 96.4? Chirag, something, yes, but why do you want to stay at 96.4? I know you will go to 99. Put your effort for 99 or 100, okay? Still a long way to go. Shall we proceed? This question you have to do in 10 seconds. Okay, 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, timer. Chirag is saying that the answer is C. Rahul is saying that the answer is C. PS is saying that the answer is C. C is the right answer. C. As you increase the temperature, ionic mobility will increase because kinetic energy increases. So this is true. The question is which is false. SH, have you attended the same class for English? Obviously it will be the same lecture in English, right? That is what is written. This is a strong electrolyte. This is a precipitate. So obviously conductance of a strong electrolyte will be greater. Now for strong electrolyte, if you increase the temperature, this conductance will not change because it is already saturated. The value will be fixed. But for a weak electrolyte, this will dissociate further if you increase the temperature. So conductance will increase. So the answer will be C for Calcutta. Okay. Should we move on to the next question? This is your homework. Think about it. Okay. Think and then write. Okay. This is also your homework. You have 10 seconds to solve this question. Okay. Your time starts now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is it not super easy? It has to be a weak electrolyte. Answer is A. A is the correct answer. So this was a question of JEE Mains 2020. So they will give you a lot of questions which are like super easy. Okay. Let's do a next question. Delta G naught is given to you. You have to find the value of E naught. Your time starts now. Yes, tell me your answers. Okay, Chirag is saying minus 6 into 10 की power minus 2, 0.006, 0.006. So answer is 6 into 10 to the power minus 2, right? So you simply have to use delta G naught is minus n into f into E naught. So this is 17.37 into 10 to the power of 3. N is minus 3. This is 96500 into E naught. So you will have E naught as the negative sign will remain. So this will be minus 6 into 10 to the power of minus 2. This minus 6 is the right answer. It's a straightforward question again. Can you do one more question for me? Try and solve this. Tell me the answer to this question. Yes. What is the answer? C. Okay. TP is saying that the answer is C. TP, no flukes, huh? DG is saying the answer is C. Chirag is saying the answer is D. Suhas is saying the answer is 4. That is D. A. So if I write this is oxidation, so this is anode, this is reduction, so this is cathode. So I write the equation of anode, it is Cu gives Cu2 plus concentration C1 plus 2 electron. I write the equation of cathode, Cu2 plus concentration C2 plus 2 electron gives Cu. If I add these two, Cu gives, this is C2, this is C1 plus Cu. If I ask you reaction quotient Q, that is C1 by C2. If I ask you what is N, it is 2. What will be the value of E naught? It is a concentration cell, E naught is 0. So can I say that E is equal to minus 0.059 by 2 . So for the cell to be spontaneous, because I want delta G to be negative, so I want E cell to be greater than 0. So I want basically C1 by C2 as less than 1. Because if C1 by C2 is less than 1, this value will be negative, this is also negative. Okay, what is C1 by C2 here? 2. This cannot be your answer. What is C1 by C2 here? Cannot be your answer. What is C1 by C2 here? Equal to 1. Cannot be your answer. What is C1 by C2 here? This will be your answer. Is it not a simple question? Yes or no? RK, DG, TP, SA, Suhas, Chirag, good job. Okay. Next question. Tell me the answer in this question. Tell me the answer in this question. Yes. Tell me the answer to this question, guys. I have been given KClO3, right? So I can say weight of KClO3 is molecular weight of KClO3 upon N factor into Faraday into I, 2 into 60% of the current is used, into T. If T is, let's say, X hours, then into T in 3600 seconds. Yes or no? What is weight of KClO3? 10 grams. What is molecular weight of KClO3? 122. 1 mole of KClO3 requires 6 electrons. So this is 6 and this is Faraday. Faraday is 96500. So if I solve this, T comes out to be around 10.98 hours, approximately equal to 11 hours. Again, a question which is simple but which requires effort. So I hope electrochemistry is something which you can deal with now. I don't think it's going to be a tough task for you to deal with this now. So the whole idea was to, remove the fear of this chapter. I hope I was able to successfully do it. I hope all of you who got the result yesterday are going to improve in the next attempt. And the idea is now to go to the depth, because slowly you are going to increase the depth and go till JEE Advanced. Please be sincere now. Whenever you come to the lecture, please make sure you revise the notes, you do the DPP after you go home, and you come prepared for the class. Tomorrow we are going to finish with coordination compounds. We have not had a lecture of equilibrium 2. Okay, and this equilibrium 2 we will be covering, so don't worry about it. Okay, till then, all of you, please stay safe and happy learning. Bye.
For detailed videos, daily practice problems and live chat, visit academy.amazon.in or download the app.